Hi guys, in this lesson we will learn how to use the query method while filtering the data. In the previous lesson we have already covered the most common form of filtering the data, but the easiest and professional way of filtering is also needed sometimes. So let's create a new file and call it query method, because we are going to filter with the help of the query method here. Query method. First I will import my pandas library PD. Then I will import what or data frame with the help of the alias read csv, and we already know where does our files or dataset locates inside of this data folder. After going one step back, I will copy this file here and paste it here and call it. Oh, just a minute, I forget to type in the data folder and click shift enter. You could see that we have imported all data here. But why did I import this data? Because we don't have these spaces between these columns. Query method always works with the columns when the columns does not have the spaces inside of these ones. As an example, if I type in or import this file here, this file, click shift enter, query will not work with such columns like this one, net change density, no matter, because between these the columns inside of this, between this text, the scopes and length area, there is a space. This space exists and that's why query will not work here. But we have an option to avoid this. We can even replace this inside the space between them with the underscore here, but I will cover it later in the at the end of this video. For now I will do what? I will try to work on this data here which is imported and try to explain the query method. At the end I will explain you why how to escape the error which is popping up when we have a space inside of these columns. Now let's try to remind the basic terminology of using the filters. We already know how to use it. If I want to print out the region, filter these dataset based on the region and count. The basic structure was like df, for example, the name of the column region. Then I will type in what equals, for example, if I want to print out all the rows which have the Asia values, and will be ampersand. Another column such as count might be greater than, for example, 1700. Then I will do what? Entail this with square brackets, and this one could be entailed with round brackets here, like this one, and we will type in the df here. If I click shift enter, you could see that it will sort this dataset based on the region and count. The count will be greater than 1700 and the region will be what? Asia. But how does query method works here? If I try to first just sort it based on the region, I will one column, I will type in what? df first, then inside of the df I will type in the dot query, and then I will inside of the quotes type in the column name here called region. Then I will type in the equals and two quotes here, single quotes, and inside of single quotes I will type in the Asia here. You could see how easy it is to sort it like that. But another structure will be with a bunch of these square brackets and round brackets, but this terminology, this functionality doesn't require it. The only thing that it requires is these quotes, single or double. You could even change these ones with single and the inside quotes with double, like this one. No matter, it will work perfectly okay. We have printed out all the rows which contain the Asia. But if I want to print out the rows which are not Asia, again it would work like that. I will just type in it like that. Okay, this function is printed out right now. It does not consider Asia because this means not equal sign. I mean region is not equal to Asia here. If I want to print out all the rows which are greater than 2020, I will again type in the query and the name of the column. Please make sure that the column is not inside of the quotes here. You will not type in the quotes separately for the column here. Year equals, but for numeric data also we will not just type it, like we will not surround the numeric data inside of the these quotes here. Year is greater than 2020. You could see that it will print out one row here. Okay, instead of the ampersand like above, this one, in the query method we will use what? And inside of the vertical bar we use or, like in strings here, like in Python. Let's try to give a bit complex condition here. I will type in the df query. I want to sort out this data frame based on two columns here. First I will print out the data frame itself, and now I will try to sort them based on the region and count, again as this one. Okay, I will type in df query, again the name of the column, like region equals Asia inside of the single quotes, and then if I want to give a second condition I will type in the AND here, AND keyword, instead of this ampersand. I will type in the AND, and then I will type in the count is greater than what? Maybe kind might be greater than 100 and 1700 again. You could see that again it has sorted exactly as this one here. The structure is the same. We could even use OR instead of the AND here. If I type in the OR and click Shift Enter, you might see that it might have 71 rows here, but if I type in the AND again, it will have what? Counted number of rows here, because OR, as it's already known, either counts this one. It says, hey, print me all the rows which contain the Asia value here, and again, or print me all the rows which are greater than 1700 here. And now we have lots of rows which meets to these conditions, both of these conditions. That's why it just prints out all these rows here. We again could do query with the help of what? We could use in keyword here. If I type in df query, and then I will try to sort a region equals to Asia, or a region, or so let's take in another column, the subregion equals to what? As an example, subregion could be inside. I want to pick up two values here. In order to do that, I will, instead of equal sign, two equal signs, I will type in the in, and inside of these square brackets I will give what? The values names here. First, let's take it this Western Asia here. Then I will give another value, which values I want to print. Maybe I want to pick up this South America, right? And now if I just click Shift Enter, it will be print out the error Y. We haven't entailed this with single quotes here. Click Shift Enter, you could see it will print out all the rows which contains either Western Asia and South America here. You could see how easy it is. And we could even add in conditions here. I can add in and count again might be greater than 52, and again count colon is let's say less than 70. Let's see what will it bring. You could see it will print out 3 rows here, because count is considered between these values here, 52 and 70, and the subregion is extracted based on this condition, Western Area and Southern Area. If I try to, instead of this, type in the count in between, this is not the between, it means that 50 and 61, as an example, if I click shift enter, it means that this list means an equal sign. The count is equal to 50 or 61, it will print out again the rows with those values. Let's take up this one again, click shift enter, count, yes, count should be, let's take up this one, 52, click shift enter, you could see it will print out 2 rows here, 50 to 61, and the row with the count with the number of 50 is not existing in this column, that's why it's not printing it out. Okay, we could even do what? Use it instead of the in, we could use not in, and this one is the reverse version of that. It just prints out all the rows except Western Asia and South America in subregion column, and 50, 61 and 52 in the count column here. And we have a condition, don't forget that we have condition, and both of these conditions should be meted here. But if I type in the or instead of the and, it will have what? Bunch of columns here, because we have this one separately and this one separately. It just prints out all the columns with these values separately here. And now if I go back to the previous version, to the previous data set that I wanted to modify here, if I try to import it and run it, you could see that we have what? Spaces inside of these column names here. But if I want to avoid these spaces, what should I do? Let's see that I want to modify this name here, or this net change. In order to do that, if I type in the df, let's just make it df2 in order to avoid the errors which are going to be appeared. And here if I type in the df2 query, and the name, the column name could be net change equals to, for example, this number. If I try to just print it out, it will print out the error because it not supports these spaces inside of the column here. In order to avoid it, you could do what? You can just replace these spaces with the underscore. I know that we haven't covered the underscores or replace method, but I will just try to quickly introduce it, and later I will explain in detail in the future. Don't worry, just follow me and try to just understand the basic syntax of it. In order to do that, first I will type in the df2 columns. If I print all the columns here, just a minute, you can see it will print out the columns names, and we can see these columns have these spaces here. But if I want to get rid of these spaces here, I will type in the df again to query. No, before query I will type in the columns equals, I will give a what, like the list, and type in I replace this space, and instead of the space I will type in the dash here. For this is the for loop. We have already covered the for loops in Python. You should have the basic understanding it. In df2 columns, again columns, it does what? It just iterates over these columns here. What does it? This is the iteration. It is going to iterate over these columns here and replace these spaces with these underscores here. And then if I click shift enter, it will replace all these underscores here. If I try to rerun it again, you could see that these spaces have been converted to the underscores here. Even we could see it from the data frame itself here. You could see these are the data frames. And now I am open to do what? Print out or filter this data set with the what? With query method here. The data frame 2, the query again, query method. I will pick up the column. Let's take up this column here. This column equals to what? Inside of the string I will take it this percentage number here, because this might not be the integer. Let's check it again. If it's integer, the types yearly changed. You could see that this yearly change is not integer, that's object. It means it's string. That's why I have entailed this one in the single quotes here. And if I click shift enter, you could see it will print out the result, and it has filtered it based on this value here. Now we don't have a problem with either working with the columns that have spaces inside of these column names here. That's it for now. I think that this lesson was really helpful for you. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. Bye.